So if you can show up and you can have fun with it, you're just going to duplicate that down, and it's going to teach them to go out and have fun with it and take the pressure off of showing up daily because it's already something they worked on at the beginning of the week or the beginning of the month.
Welcome to How She Built It. I'm Carrie Augustine Boyle, CEO of Automate and Elevate. Around here, success isn't accidental, it's built. All right, girl, you've built a following of over 700,000. You've led teams of more than 30,000 people, run an organization generating over 10 million a year. That's insane. Most people see all of this visibility on social media. They see the momentum, they see the growth, but what they don't see is the infrastructure that you built underneath of it. You didn't just build this following or a team. You literally, Holly, engineered duplication. You built these insane systems that scale, and I'm so excited to unpack how you actually did this. So for anyone that doesn't know you, this is Miss Holly Lynn. Like, how did this all start? Like, bring us back to how you got your start on social media.
Well, it actually goes back quite a ways. So when I first got into this, I owned an Etsy shop. And I was building solely that Etsy shop. And then I started trickling it onto social media. And something in me just started to feel like there's got to be something bigger. There's got to be more people who want to work with me and help me build a business versus it all being on my back. So that's when I looked into network marketing. And then with network marketing, that's where I found my passion. It's truly helping people and teaching people how to be successful. And the only way you can do that is with systems, because otherwise they're relying 100% on you. So we'll get more into that, but that's kind of how I got started.
I love it. So you had the Etsy, you found network marketing. When I connected with Holly, you guys, I think we found each other via TikTok. How did you get into that world? Like, how did you go from I have an Etsy store to like, I can really leverage social media, whether it was for Etsy or network marketing, to like explode? How did you do that?
Well, I watched other people do it and I was like, well, if they can do it, I can do it better. And that's like the mentality I want everybody to really have is like, watch what other people are doing and figure out how to do it better or do it in your lane. Like you have to be unique and you have to do it your way. And that's what's going to make it better because it's you and your way.
Gotcha. So at some point, I'm sure that you analyzed what you saw. You started to apply it to your own business. And that's when I probably found you, when I saw her content in my feed constantly. So how did you, I guess, come up with a process? Like, even like, let's not even talk about a process for your team yet. How did you come up with the Holly process for this is the rhythm that I need to follow, or this is how often I need to post? How did you start with those pieces?
I wanted success really bad. And I knew that the way to get it was going to be showing up and showing up probably a little bit more than the average person can tolerate. So when I started on like TikTok, I knew people that were having success were doing 3 videos a day. So I was like, well, that's easy. I can do 6 a day. And eventually that can be a lot. But at the same time, like if you truly want to have success, I really believe you have to go through a period of where you have to run hard and you have to not quit and you have to be consistent. So, I mean, that's really the magic always.
That is an excellent answer. Uh, so now that kind of steers me towards my next question. So you kind of figured out the process. This is what it's going to take. This is what I have to do. And, for anyone listening that probably maybe got that feeling in their throat, like, holy crap, that's a lot of content. Then I guess you had to start to systematize, right? Now we're heading into my love language, but you had to figure out a way that I can't sit here and film 24 times a day, or I can't sit here and figure out in the morning what I'm doing. So how did that start to roll out for you?
And that's kind of what I teach too, Carrie, is like, just because somebody can show up 3 times a day doesn't mean that's going to fit for everyone, because that's what's going to happen is you're going to burn out. So you always have to do what's going to be comfortable for you. But for me, that was my non-negotiable. But also keeping in mind that everything you do can be transferred over to other platforms. So like, it's like you're recycling things too. And once you start getting good at it, you're going to build up this bank of, stuff on your phone or in your social media that can go to other platforms. So it eventually gets easier. It's just putting in the work at the beginning.
Bank. So banking is basically having like a bulk arsenal of pictures. And this is one of the reasons why I was so excited to get Holly on here and talk about this, because I see your content now in my feed and I'm, oh my gosh, she does these incredible pictures. And I've seen you share a few times how you go out with your hubby, which I feel you guys are adorable. You go out and you do these photo shoots on the weekend, which then creates, like you said, a bank of content. So walk us through, what does that look like? How do you come up with the idea? Do you have things that you know that you're going to shoot when you go out?
Yes. So honestly, I'm a busy mom. I'm a busy mom of three and I run a very large organization. So for me, I have to time block these photo shoots. And like Carrie said, I have an idea in my head. My branding and my photos are always going to be loud because I want to be able to stop people from scrolling. So I always pick out, an outfit or six, and I will bring them to a location and I will change in my car, and then there you go. You are done with an entire month because you have all these photos. You just take a bunch of photos, take a bunch of videos, and make it like a whole 1 day thing. And if that feels overwhelming to do that for the whole month, then do it per week. Like shoot enough content to have for 7 days. So that's what I do. I will literally load up a bag of stuff, whether it'll be cups. I mean, I sell drinks and stuff, so it'll be cups with drink mixes, and I'll get it all done in 1 day.
Gosh, anyone listening, I hope you're taking notes because I just wrote this down. So you have your outfits ready to go. You're literally changing in your car. You're bringing props along with you. Now, I'm imagining somebody listening probably has this question. How long do you feel like you spend doing this? I'm curious.
Honestly, I've fine tuned it so much where everything's just ready to go for me. It doesn't take me that long. I mean, it probably takes maybe 2 hours, and then I'm going to have a whole month worth of content. And then you just go home and edit it. And I will be very honest, with AI popping up right now, that's another tool for your tool bag. And I 100% think that it's the best tool because I'm here in the wintertime. I'm in Minnesota. So now I can rely a little bit on the AI, but I also always want to bring my real person into my content too, because you don't want to lose that connection with people.
1000%. About 2 hours, right? Give or take. And I'm sure if you had to rewind, it probably took you longer years ago. But like you said, you stream down the process. You have an entire month of content, which is insane, you guys, to think of that she can spend 2 hours having fun with her husband. I've seen these photo shoots. I've seen the smiles on their faces. I've seen behind the scenes. It's almost date day content version. Would you say that's kind of what it is?
Yeah, so true. I never even actually thought of it, but yeah, we will in our stories. You can make it even content while you're making content. So even on the way to places we're going to go take pictures, we're having fun. We're getting lunch. We're making it a thing. I guess like Carrie said, I never even thought of it like that, but yeah.
That's how I see it from the outside. It literally looks like a fun date day because for anyone listening that doesn't know you, you guys are high school sweethearts, right?
Yep. Yeah, we've been together 27.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much. All right, so let's pivot because I touched on this insane organization you have, all of this success. So how did you take this process and turn it into a duplicatable system for your team? And I guess it could go two directions. It could go, how did you teach them to do what you're doing? And or how did you take what you're doing and, allow them to maybe piggyback off of all of this fresh content?
So you do have to teach your team how to do these things. Otherwise, they're always going to rely on you. I do provide a lot of tools for my team, and I think that it's very easy to do when you're batching like this because you can share B-roll content with them. And also, one of the biggest things that you can do in leadership is show up and do the things that you want your team to do, because they're only going to do about 10% of what you do. So if you can show up and you can have fun with it, you're just going to duplicate that down, and it's going to teach them to go out and have fun with it and take the pressure off of showing up daily, because it's already something they worked on at the beginning of the week or the beginning of the month. And then there's more time for them to work on other income producing things like getting in Messenger, because their content is already done for them.
That is so smart. So you are basically shooting and creating the content. You're giving them banks of content that they can use, right? So if you have drinks, so you have like a B-roll of you pouring the drink, whatever it is, you give it to them. They don't have to actually go out and shoot it. However, they can customize it and make it their own, I'm assuming, or not, or you could take it as far as to create it for them. So then, like you said, they can do other things to grow their business.
Right.
So friggin' smart. So if somebody was listening and they were curious, do you have a certain way that you structure getting them the content? You don't have to give away all of your insider secrets, but have you found that maybe organizing it in a Google Drive or having it some sort of digital resource or something like that versus a different way?
Yeah. So here's the catch is people.
Yes, give us the behind the scenes.
It's tough because Facebook works for some people, Telegram works for some people. So the places, if you can duplicate things in multiple places and multiple resources, that just makes it a no-brainer. You can't have anybody complaining to you like they don't have the resources to be successful, because if you are putting it in multiple places, it allows people not to have that objection, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
So I organize things through where we're comfortable. Facebook, I do Telegram, I do automation, I do boards. Like there's just so many places that you can put things, Facebook groups. And I know that sounds like a lot, like it really does. But if you can just do that in one day, put one, on one platform and just keep going, it just makes it easier.
I mean, I'm doing the math as she's talking, right? If you're spending a couple hours shooting the content, which is giving potentially her team months worth of content that they can use, even if you had to go and then create the content. When I say create, what I'm thinking is she took a picture, she's putting the words on it or, fine tuning them. So Holly might do this. Maybe she delegates that, which I'll ask her in a second. Maybe she delegates that to like other people on her team. But then, yes, you have to figure out what works, Facebook or Telegram or boards or putting it in a group. Even if she did all of that, I mean, you're talking maybe Holly spending 4 hours a month, like 4 hours a month times 12 months in a year. That's a week's worth of work. That's literally 40 hours. You're spending 1 week to get all of that duplication.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you agree? That is insane. All right. So let me pivot this back to you and your business. Having a system like this and being able to get all of that done, what does that allow you to focus on? What does that allow Holly to focus on in her business as a leadership, as a person running a team of thousands, a multi-million dollar organization?
Well, when you batch, the most magical thing happens. You get to start spending time with your family. And that is what we're doing this for. So if you can just put away some time to just create, like Carrie and I are telling you to do, that's going to help you significantly have more family time. It's going to have more time for you to be in your inbox recruiting, because as leaders, like you still have to show up and lead, and you still have to be enrolling people and bringing in more people who you can teach to do these things to and help them be super successful.
I'm literally, my mind is racing. I have so many questions I could talk to Holly all day. So how did this not only get you your time back with your family, but how did it shift your stress as a leader? Because I have a background in network marketing as well, right? I worked for 10 years in the field, and it does get overwhelming. You do get stressed out. When you're leading a team, you have, endless people that you're trying to help and answer questions and do all the things, and you're trying to grow your own business. So having just this one piece in place where you know that duplication is happening, how has that helped with your stress and to actually help you to be able to enjoy building your business?
Well, your phone gets quieter. So people are not reaching out asking you really super easy things because they're taking the time to look through the resources that you have created. So it's going to free up your time as far as answering messages. Like I almost get uncomfortable now because I'm like, why is nobody asking me questions? And when I do check-ins with them, it's like, well, because everything's right here in front of me. It's already done, or I'm already out doing these things. My team is duplicating, and our numbers show that it's because people are doing what I do because of how I lead and the things that I put in place. And anybody can do it. I mean, if I can do it, anybody can do it. I know that sounds so silly. I hate when people say that, but it's so stinking true. If you want something, you can achieve it for sure.
Listening to Holly makes it sound easy. I'm not going to lie. Listening to you and watching what you've built and seeing you show up on social media, you make it look effortless. But I'm sure you were in the trenches for a long time. I'm sure you hit those walls where you were, oh my gosh, how do I make this more efficient, more simple for my team, easier for people to have success, right? Because ultimately, when you're in network marketing, you're building these communities, you're trying to build people up, you're trying to paint the vision of what you know clearly by the statistics we shared about you and your success. You want to paint that vision. Yes, anyone can do that. So my last question, this is my deep one before we wrap it up. What do you think, in Holly's opinion, what do you think that leaders underestimate that ends up costing them that scale, that big business CEO lifestyle? Like, what one thing that you think leaders are underestimating? Maybe they're not doing it right. Maybe they're not putting enough emphasis on it.
I think it is it's confidence. I honestly think that people lack the confidence, and when they're not having those wins, which those wins are tied to what you're doing and your team's watching you do those things. So the only way you're going to win is if you can make it easy for people below you or people that are partnered with you to win. And how you're going to do that is by showing up, being consistent, putting resources in place that are so simple that anybody can duplicate it. Because if you overcomplicate something, people are out.
So showing up and the resources. And you literally just broke down for us a huge piece of the resources that you're supplying, because at the end of the day, for anyone listening that is building a business, whether on social media 100% or even brick and mortars, now in 2026, you have to have a presence on social media. And these resources that we just talked about in this episode are business changing, they're life changing. So I think you would agree that this is something that if someone wants to scale their business, if someone wants to be one of the leaders at the top, then this is a non-negotiable.
Oh, for sure. For
Like
sure.
it's non-negotiable to have something like this in place, whether it's what Holly just broke down, having a bank of resources, which I think is incredible, or just having tools that your team can easily access and not have to spend hours scrambling.
Right. I mean, you honestly just have to think like, what could make your day easier and then make that for your team. What if you were just starting a business, whether it's brick and mortar, like you need to have that roadmap. You need to write these things down or like capture them in some way, like video posts, and then put it into like boards or something somewhere that people can see what you're doing and look back on how you got there.
That right there, going back to taking yourself out of the game for a minute,
Yep.
because Holly's been, how long have you been in the industry?
13.
13 years. So it's probably hard for you at times to bring yourself back to day one or month one. But if you want to be a successful leader, if you want to have success in the industry, you have to rewind and remember that newest person, the person that just started. What do they need? What tools and resources do they need? Basically, backwards designing it.
Exactly. Because otherwise I do it all the time. I will put something out there because I'm like, oh my God, this is it. This is the next thing to, duplicate down. And then I hand it to them and they just don't even know what to do. You can literally feel your team sink. And that's when I like stop and I pause and I'm like, you're right. If somebody handed this to me and it was my first week in network marketing, I would probably quit. I would be like, there's no way, Holly, I'm going to get out and do 3 videos. Like, you got to start small. And also starting with stories, like on your Facebook, that's actually a huge thing, is to get people comfortable. Is like, if you're not comfortable with reels, then try talking in your stories. You can delete it 100 times. Just baby steps. Give them baby steps and it will create a massive snowball effect.
This has been incredible. I took so many notes, and I hope that for anyone listening, you took notes as well. I have to ask you this, Holly. I'm sure you have like a bundle of these tools that you use. I might have to get a link of your bundle and I'll leave it in the show notes, whether it's your selfie stick or maybe a couple tools that you recommend from Amazon. Holly's go to stuff. Do you have those things? I'm sure you do.
Yes, of course I do.
Of course she does. So I'll link those in the show notes. I appreciate you so much for hanging out and giving us a little peek of your behind the scenes and all the things that you do. You are incredible. I'm so grateful that our paths crossed. And you
Too.
guys, I'm going to leave all of her info to go follow her in the show notes as well. Go learn, take a page out of her book, see how she shows up, all the things she's doing. Holly Lynn, you're amazing.
Thank you, Carrie.
Thanks, girl. What I hope you heard today is that duplication doesn't happen because you hope your team figures it out. It happens because you build something that they can actually step into, use, and apply in their own businesses. Inspiration is going to get attention, but infrastructure is what's going to build scale. So if you're building a team and you feel like the bottleneck, this episode was for you. Go connect with Holly. We'll link everything in the show notes. And if you're serious about building something scalable, make sure you're following the show. New episodes drop every Thursday.